before we get to the Queen of Carthage herself, Mrs. Summer Surratt, Pickle, we have a special guest in the studio.
Bam! She's on camera. She doesn't even know it.
She's on camera.
Go ahead and squeeze over to that mic there, Kimmie.
This is Miss Kimmie Gooding. Kimmie, thanks for coming in our studio today. We're super excited to have you on.
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. She came in and she wanted to interview us for one of her college
She must really be scrounging out there for content if you're going to interview the two of us. But no, we met Kimmie at the Dave Campbell's Texas football meet and greet at Texas Live before the state championship. Kimmie's an aspiring journalist. Yeah. Which we're pumped about.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kimmie, for anybody that doesn't know you, kind of give us your elevator pitch and who you are, how you got to where you are now, where'd you go to school? Give us the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so actually I graduated from Wimberley High School in 2015, and it was cheaper for me to actually move to this area and go to Collin College in Plano than it was for me to stay at home and go to ACC. Which is Aussie Community College. So I decided to move. So I was like, I'm moving. And I originally pursued dance and musical theater. And unfortunately, I went through a lot at the time. And so I failed out of Collin. And so I was like, I'm just going to work for a couple of years, figure out like what I want to do. So I worked at Cowboys Fit, which is in 2017. So I was there from 2017 till COVID. When COVID hit, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to school, finish my degree. So I decided to go to Collin because they just came out with a program, Sport Management, at the end of 2019, so literally right before COVID. So I decided to go there and do that. So I'm at Collin right now getting my degree in Sport Management and then be at UNT in the fall.
Let's
How
go.
About that? Whenever we can have somebody from North Texas on our show.
We're hyped.
We are always hyped. So you were telling us before the show even started, you're kind of trying to decide between the journalism path or more of the sports management side of things, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So what are you kind of leaning towards right now, do you think?
I think I'm leaning more towards events. I love writing, but I know that I am OCD when it comes to my writing, so I nitpick my own writing. So I know for myself that might not be the best
quality
idea.
of life might be better in the event business.
Yeah, for sure. And I have more of a passion when I do events. I get more of a thrill out of it. I see myself happier because I'm planning events, for people or for different companies, and so I get to see people that I plan these events for have a smile because they're like, oh, our event succeeded. So I get like a thrill out of helping people too. So I think I'm leaning more towards that route.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. If you could have any kind of job anywhere, you had no limits, what would be your dream job?
Actually, it would be working for the NFL. I haven't met her yet, but she does community relations. So when players want to do events for domestic violence, charities, she's the one that they go to through the NFL, and she helps put those events together. And so she does any of like the Crucial Catch they do, Salvation Army. So I think that would be my dream job because it would be planning events, but for a special cause and to be able to help people who really need it.
If we get to the point where we see Kimmie in the red kettle, I'll be so hyped. Like that's the sole mission of WTF from here on out is getting Kimmie connected with them.
Yes. And
she can be the red kettle girl. Like I would be so hyped.
Now, would you want to work for the NFL specifically, maybe a specific team, or what are you kind of thinking?
That's one thing. I think it'd be so cool to work for the NFL at the headquarters in New York. It just depends where the doors open and where my path goes and where I'm led. Anything in football is really what I'm looking for. Obviously the Cowboys because they're here in the area, and I really love the area that I'm like, I want to stay here, but not a specific NFL team, just really working with football in general is where I'm at.
Okay. And you said you originally wanted to go into dance instead of what you're doing now, sports management. So were you a dancer growing up, or were you a sports fan growing up? Kind of what was your sports background like growing up?
So this is really interesting. So my entire life I've done dance, and I really thought that's the route I wanted to go. I was getting ready to move to Atlanta right before COVID, and the doors had kept closing, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I had been really interested in sports my entire life, which is really, I've always kind of been casted as like a weird person because I really loved like musical theater and dance, but I've always been interested in sports, and I grew up with sports. My mom's a huge Chicago Bears fan because I'm from Illinois. My dad's a Packers fan, so the house is very divided. My dad graduated from A&M, so I grew up going to A&M games. So I've always been super involved. I played basketball for a couple of years in elementary school.
Let's go.
Yeah,
she played basketball too. Some fellow basketball.
Yes.
I was gonna say that it reminds me of, there was one time in college I was doing a newscast, and I had an intramural basketball game literally right afterwards. Like I had to end my script and run straight there. So I had a dress on.
Shocking.
I had a dress on, but I had basketball shorts and my and high socks on underneath it. Now that's all I could picture was her in like ballet and then going. But you got a game afterwards, you know?
Exactly. That's hilarious.
Pretty much.
Then how long did you play basketball for?
I was only for 2 years.
Okay,
I'm 4'11", so like
Girl,
I wasn't very good.
I feel that. I was like, there's no way I could take on it. Playing basketball is fun. Like it is.
Yeah.
It is. Pickup games are a lot of fun, but I'm just not very useful.
The hustle.
Like 5'2",
everyone needs
5'3",
a hustle player.
Yeah, everyone needs a 5'2" Mallory Hartley basketball player on their team. But no, that's funny.
Oh yeah.
So I know you've seen it. What we're who we're talking to today. It's Mrs. Summer Surratt.
This is a sore subject for you because we've got two sides going on right now from the state championship game.
I have to ask you. So you went to Wimberley High School.
I did.
Correct?
I did.
Were you at AT&T Stadium in December?
I was.
How do you
you can see the
feel-
PTSD just glaze over
How do you
her.
feel that we're having the Queen of Carthage on our show today?
It sends chills up your spine.
I think it's really cool actually because they do something completely different with that team than I've ever seen in football, like especially high school football. There was one Wimberley person who was like, Carthage plays dirty. My dad and I had a conversation where like, we don't think Carthage plays dirty. We just think that they just have a different way of playing. And like they come with this swagger. So I'm like, I have all respect for them and their coaching staff and the players and the families because none of them were disrespectful.
That's awesome.
Right. Well, and you can even look at this season as a complete win for you guys. I mean, you at least made it.
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
you
state
make it
championship.
there.
Sure.
Yeah, and any
For
team
sure.
that at least makes it to the state championship, I mean, has a lot to hang their hat on. So,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Well, for everybody out there, do you have a Twitter?
I don't.
You don't have a Twitter?
No, I need to get one.
Yeah, I was gonna say seriously. I was gonna say follow her on Twitter if she didn't have
We'll
if
update
she
you
had a
next week
Twitter.
after Kimmie makes her Twitter.
Right,
that we're
right.
forcing
Twitter.
her into.
Yeah, seriously. But anyways, Kimmie, thank you so much for coming on our show today, and we really appreciate you having on. Unless you have anything else.
No, that's great. No, Kimmie, keep rocking it, man. We're
Yeah,
excited for you. We're excited to watch your career. And hey, again, if anyone has the number for the Red Kettles, like let's go. We're hooking Kimmie up. That's all of WTF's mission now.
Yeah, seriously. But thank you so much for coming on and interviewing us today. So we wanted to interview you, but she is Miss Kimmie Gooding. Follow her on Twitter when she gets a Twitter.
We'll shout that out next week.